Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. Nearly 20 years after work began on Nunavut's land use plan, some advocates and lawyers say continued delays are undermining the promises at the heart of the Nunavut Agreement. The massive document, considered the largest land use plan in the world, still hasn't been signed off. Samuel Watt reports.
The Nunavut Land Use Plan is a legal requirement under the Territory's Land Claims Agreement. It covers 1/5 of Canada's landmass. It sets out which areas are open for development and which are protected, but after nearly 2 decades of work on the plan, it still hasn't been signed. The advocacy group Friends of Land Use Planning is now looking into the legal consequences of stalling the approval even further.
Every day that we continue without an approved plan, it becomes more and more difficult and more expensive to reverse or to stop some of the work that's undergoing currently.
Article 11 of the Nunavut Agreement requires ministers to either accept a draft of the plan or send it back for reconsideration as soon as practicable. Nick Leeson of Woodward and Company Lawyers helps put together a legal analysis for the group. He says that wording suggests the need for an urgent decision, and that's one that's enshrined in a constitutionally protected treaty.
There's nothing higher in Canadian law than the Constitution. So the Constitution prevails.
CBC News reached out to the 3 signatories of the plan, Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated, the territorial and federal governments. They all stressed the need to carefully review the plan and its implementation. None of them addressed the legal arguments from the Friends of Land Use Planning. According to the World Wildlife Fund, as of May 2025, there were mineral claims in 1.5 million hectares of land that would have some protection under the land use plan. Roughly half of those were made since 2023, when the latest draft was submitted for approval.
There is an apparent coordinated effort to take advantage of staking on these lands before they're protected by an Nunavut land use plan.
The Northern Affairs Minister Rebecca Chartrand previously told CBC News she expects the land use plan to be in effect by April 1st, 2027, which is Devolution Day. But Ellsworth doesn't believe it should take another year.
As Inuit, as community members living in Nunavut, many of us are becoming more and more frustrated.
And as mining stakes continue, Ellsworth says time is not on their side. Samuel Watt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Northwest Territories RCMP say proposed new laws could give them more tools and ease pressure on an overloaded court system. At a town hall Monday night, police defended the proposed Civil Forfeiture and Trespass Act, saying it could help officers deal with lower-level issues before they become bigger problems. But as Devin Tradinick reports, not everyone at the meeting was convinced the legislation addresses the real causes behind crime and addiction.
RCMP in the Northwest Territories say they want more flexibility to respond to more situations.
This now gives us other tools and abilities to treat things at a more humanistic approach or a lower level versus having to force people into a court and put them before a judge.
Smith says sending every minor offense through the courts takes time and resources. He pointed to shoplifting as one example, saying a business owner could instead issue a trespass notice instead of pursuing a theft charge over something minor, like a bag of chips. But Smith also acknowledged repeated trespassing could still become a criminal matter. And for some at the town hall, the bigger concern is what happens next. Yellowknife resident Lindsay Moon questioned where people are supposed to go if they're removed from a business or other spaces under a trespass order. Moon says she wants to see more investment in social supports, not just more enforcement.
If we started to address why are people using substances in the first place and kind of deal with some of those root causes and engage our entire community, I think we would have a healthier community versus this division of like those people versus us, and that requires the policing so the rest of us can live our life in peace.
Police say the goal is not to criminalize homelessness or addictions, and Smith says he supports fewer police interactions if community organizations are better equipped to help people before officers are needed. Devin Tradinick, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Nunavut's top Mountie says the future of policing in the territory needs to look and sound more Inuit.
I always start out by saying Uluku and Hanawingi, which is like, how are you doing? And they in turn were Hanawipi and Hanawing Itunga, Ivili. So it's basically, I'm doing great, how about you?
He says increasing Inuit recruitment remains one of his top priorities. When Pike took over the role, there were only 4 Inuit RCMP officers serving in the territory. 6 months later, he says there are encouraging signs of progress.
We've had 5 people recently take the test from not just here in Iqaluit, but obviously other communities as well. We're working with those people that I know we just really need to get over that hump. We need to get people through the door to start the process.
Pike says he hopes to see measurable progress over the next year to 18 months. A 2-day meeting of Western premiers has wrapped up, a gathering dominated, at least on day 1, by concerns, even anger, about Alberta's plan for a referendum on separatism. But at the closing news conference Wednesday afternoon, the tone seemed different, friendlier, and more unified.
There are many points of agreement among us, and we are firmly aligned on the need to continue to build a stronger, more competitive and secure Canada by fully realizing the strengths of the Western provinces and territories.
I am really pleased that we were able to agree on language in this communique, all premiers, myself, Premier Smith, everybody across the table, that a unified Canada is what enables all of the work that we want to do together to build a strong economy, to build the kind of country that we want.
Earlier in the day, the premiers in attendance put on a visual show of unity, all putting on Team Canada soccer jerseys in front of the media. But the BC Premier said he remains incredibly anxious about Alberta's decision to hold a vote in October on whether to have a national unity referendum. And Manitoba's Premier said that Alberta has not met its duty to consult with First Nations. Meanwhile, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith faced repeated questions about Alberta separatism and found herself on the defensive. Brian Labby has that part of the story.
I think we know that is not correct, a lot of what you just said there, Premier Smith.
A moment of tension as the Western Premiers wrap their annual meeting in Kananaskis. Manitoba's Premier addressing Danielle Smith after she said the courts need to decide whether the Alberta government must consult First Nations during the citizen initiative process.
It is not up to the petition gatherers to fulfill the duty to consult. It is up to you as the Alberta government to fulfill the duty to consult.
Separatists recently used the process to petition for a referendum on separation, but an Alberta judge struck it down, saying the petition shouldn't have been approved because the government failed in its duty to consult First Nations. Smith says her government is appealing the decision.
We want to make sure that we have a very clear understanding of what the duty to consult really means and what it doesn't mean, and I think at the moment there's a lack of clarity on that.
Canoe also asked Smith to set aside the question on separation because he said progress is being made on new energy projects.
Now is the time to work together. Why don't we hold off on this referendum talk for a year or two and see if we get these pipelines under construction?
Smith didn't answer that, but said earlier it's important to put the question to Albertans.
We're very conscious of the fact that 700,000 citizens signed one of 2 petitions wanting to have this question, and it's my job to ensure that they have hope in Canada again, that we have to address the legitimate grievances that have come from 10 years of economic attack on our province.
The meeting also opened old wounds between Alberta and BC. Smith says successive BC governments have blocked Alberta products from getting to market. BC's David Eby has his own list of grievances. Alberta's new carbon deal with Ottawa, Smith's push to lift the oil tanker ban on BC's north coast, and the October vote.
I disagree profoundly with Premier Smith's referendum. I think it is a huge mistake.
Eby says the Western leaders will always have disagreements, and like a family, they'll find ways to resolve them. He says now is the time for unity to get things done for Canadians. He says it's not the time to break up the country. Brian Labby, CBC News, Calgary.
Yukon Premier Curry Dixon also made it clear he does not support Alberta separating from Canada. But that wasn't the only issue on the table at this week's Western Premiers Forum. Dixon says energy development remains his top priority.
You can't build new hospitals, new schools, or build an economy without power. And so we need power. We're facing a very challenging situation in Yukon when it comes to the generation of electricity. So that's my number one priority. It's what I expressed here at this meeting. And I'm off to Ottawa later this week to meet with the Prime Minister and a number of other ministers to make that same pitch.
Longtime Northern Bishop Reverend John Christopher Williams has died at the age of 89. Williams spent more than 60 years serving Anglican communities across Nunavut, Nunavut, and the Northwest Territories, becoming one of the Arctic's most recognizable church leaders. Originally from England, he came north in 1960 as a missionary and later became the Arctic's fourth bishop. During his ministry, he ordained 16 Indigenous priests, helped consecrate the first Inuk suffragan bishop, and worked on the Inuktitut translation of the Old Testament. Even after retiring, Williams remained active at Holy Trinity Anglican Church in Yellowknife, leading services until September of last year.
He was the Bishop of the Arctic for 15 years. In that time, he prioritized Northern concerns. He especially prioritized Northern leadership in the Northern Church. By Northern leadership, I mean Indigenous leadership in the Church in the Arctic. That was one of his most passionate focuses.
Chris was one of that generation of missionaries that came over, and the first thing they did was work as hard as they could to become fully bilingual in Inuktitut. And it was a real blessing in his own ministry, especially at a time when many Inuit didn't know much English. So it was a necessary thing to communicate, especially with older generations.
Williams died peacefully on May 16th in Yellowknife. His funeral service was held last Saturday at Holy Trinity Anglican Church in Yellowknife. The Yukon scientific community is also mourning the loss of a man many say helped make world-class Arctic research possible. Andy Williams spent decades managing the Kluane Lake Research Station after moving to the Yukon from Wales in the early 1970s. From ice core drilling projects to boreal forest studies, Williams helped scientists from around the world navigate the challenges of working in the north. Known for his problem-solving skills and deep knowledge of the land, he also became a highly skilled pilot during his years at the station. Williams died on May 17th at the age of 85. A memorial service will be held June 4th at the United Church in Whitehorse.
I did my turnaround.
Researchers say some of the Arctic's smallest living organisms could have a huge impact on the future of Nunavut's marine ecosystem. A new study led by researchers in Iqaluit tracked sea ice algae and phytoplankton over several years. Those are tiny microorganisms that feed everything from fish to whales. The research also raises concerns about how climate change could disrupt that fragile food web. Tharsha Ravi-Chakravarthi reports.
You've got so many more different species of these little microscopic organisms. They're important food. They're also a great indicator species because they respond so quickly to environmental changes.
Aquatic science biologist Chris Lewis says the organisms are microscopic, but they play an outsized role in Arctic waters. Phytoplankton and sea ice algae are the foundation of the marine food web. They feed everything from zooplankton to fish and eventually marine mammals. In this study, researchers and community partners documented a baseline to monitor changes in phytoplankton over time.
So in our study, we identified 562 taxa of phytoplankton and marine ice algae. We also had parts of our study where we were looking at the benthic or the bottom fish community in the same sort of vicinity.
The study near Iqaluit tracked marine life between 2018 and 2022 during construction of the city's deep water port. Researchers created a snapshot of the ecosystem that could help future scientists identify changes over time. Using this baseline data, they'll be able to see how the type and quantity of algae changes as traffic at the port increases. For local partners like Usarik Jerry Ariak, an aquatic science technician, the work is also connected to changes already being noticed on the land and sea.
We get to work closely with experts and partners from DFO, researchers from various universities in Canada, and also local community members at sites that are important ecologically for the marine ecosystem and culturally for the community members. And we get to see how human activities and development affect the marine ecosystem for our region.
Ariak says those changes can affect travel, harvesting, and even shoreline erosion. Researchers also identified potential harmful algae species as part of the baseline information to monitor future impacts. For CBC News, I'm Tharsha Ravi-Chakravarthi.
Summer tourism season is ramping up across the Yukon, but in communities like Carcross, some businesses say they're struggling to find workers as the rising cost of fuel and housing keeps potential employees away. George Moratis reports.
I'm here in Carcross, Yukon, about 75 kilometers outside of Whitehorse. Here in this tiny community of about 500, employers are all too familiar with the cost of living. And as prices go up, so do job vacancies. Stephanie Lawson owns Tagish Rocks in Carcross. This year, instead of hiring more staff, she's working more shifts herself.
I have decided to take most of the days as the owner because it's just too hard to staff people from Whitehorse and have them make the commute in, the gas prices, driving down, the wear and tear, the time too, for people to come in from Whitehorse is a lot to ask.
Lawson now drives a 150-kilometer round trip from Whitehorse 5 days a week to keep her business open. She says fuel alone costs her roughly $1,600 a month.
This is what I do. This is my business. This is my full-time job, and so this is what I have. So coming down here is kind of the best choice for me.
Other business owners in Carcross say they're seeing the same problem. Jeweler Shelley McDonald says this is the first year in more than a decade she's open for the season without enough staff.
I haven't really had issues in the past. This is honestly probably the first year where I was like, okay, setting up shop and I have no staff. We were supposed to open May 1st, but I had to not open until Mother's Day because of lack of staff.
And many say affordable housing is making recruitment even harder.
People really have to make a decision. If I cannot find housing and I'm coming from, let's say, Whitehorse, do I drive every day? Is this even worth it? For me personally, over the last couple of years, I have been blessed to retain a rather local team. So the people working in the coffee shop this year are with me for a couple of years now.
Graf says one possible solution could be temporary or communal housing for seasonal workers. Business owners in Carcross say there is no magic wand to solve the staffing challenges. They say they'll continue to evolve and hope that the cost of living improves. George Moratis, CBC News, Carcross.
Those labor shortages aren't just being felt in the north. One major company is now trying to change how it hires workers across the country. Tim Hortons says it plans to hire 10,000 local employees amid growing criticism over its reliance on temporary foreign workers. And as Karen Pauls reports, the announcement comes as a former American rival looks to re-enter the Canadian markets.
Can I please get a dark roast, an iced coffee, and a pack of Tim's new rookie cards? Nice.
Tim Hortons has always played to its Canadian roots.
I got it. Tim Biebs.
Now, the coffee giant plans to open 80 new restaurants, renovate 400 others, and hire 10,000 local staff.
Apply today and take the first step.
It comes as Dunkin' has announced plans to open hundreds of shops in Canada.
How do you like them donuts? I'm so sorry.
I think they are going after the same consumer, a younger consumer, the cool factor. So I think that Dunkin' does represent a real threat.
The plans may also be a response to criticisms like this.
Because Tim Hortons upset a lot of people because they hired so many temporary foreign workers.
During pandemic-era labor shortages, Tim Hortons lobbied Ottawa to expand the temporary foreign worker program, but now says that's no longer necessary. We think one of the biggest misperceptions around Tim Hortons is how the temporary foreign worker program has been used. Less than 4% of team members were hired through the TFW program.
I think entry-level jobs are really hard to find right now. So I think it's great for Tim Hortons to hire the local kids.
Youth unemployment in Canada is more than 14%.
When you have such high youth unemployment and you see jobs going to people who are not Canadian youths, any company that can address that is going to gain favorability with Canadians.
And with those trying to help young job seekers.
Just opening up the job market and having more opportunities for everybody to kind of get into that is a good sign.
Experts say it'll be a challenge for Dunkin' to come in and take on a brand that's so deeply embedded in the local community. Think Timbit Soccer or Camp Day.
But they say the competition will be good for Canadian coffee lovers and workers. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A new Yukon business is stitching together culture, family history, and matriarchal traditions, one colorful creation at a time. The CBC's Bruce De La Cruz visited the workshop to see the story behind the designs.
As one of Haines Junction's newest business owners, Ainsley Ogden works tirelessly, making crafts of her own design. Ogden sells handcrafted travel bags and textile art at Cabin Threads. Her business inspired by artisans she met on a trip to the East Coast and the values that guided them.
When I was starting this business, that was really my inspiration, was wanting to create that kind of same vibe or same feeling of valuing some of these crafts that our families, our grandmothers have been doing, for generations and trying to keep that alive.
The trim around the wrist or whatever, yeah.
Heidi Marion, visiting Haines Junction from Whitehorse, stopped by to check out the new business.
Oh, I'm just a fan of the bright colors. It's just so beautiful, the selection, how she's curated all the bags and the quilts. Couldn't resist.
Marion feels the work done by artisans in smaller communities drives different economies across the Yukon.
There are people traveling all over the Yukon, especially in the summertime, and it's a vital part of the economy of small communities and large. Doesn't matter where you are, you need your artisans.
Ogden was able to get her business to where it is now, partly because she won first place and $5,000 in a pitch competition directed at women entrepreneurs in the North.
I was shocked. I honestly didn't think that I was at that stage because there were just so many fantastic businesses and pitches in the competition. So I was pretty surprised.
Ogden remembers her family and every fiber woven, every thread sewn, and every design she makes.
When I was younger, I was not interested at all in those sort of traditional arts and crafts that my grandmother did. And that's something I do regret. So now when I sit at my sewing machine, I do feel like I am, following in my grandma's footsteps a bit by doing this sort of work.
Ogden hopes to collaborate with other business owners in Haines Junction and continue the artistic legacy of her family. Bruce De La Cruz, CBC News, Haines Junction.
Environment Canada is cutting its radar research team. Instead, it'll turn to an AI hybrid weather system to help improve the accuracy of long-term forecasts. But some experts say radar is needed to assess immediate severe weather risks. Helena Mahalik reports.
We had those powerful winds move into the area.
Storm chaser Jenny Hagan relies on Environment Canada weather data while out in the field. She braves tornadoes and blizzards to capture storm images and to inform the public about weather patterns across the prairies, but says cuts to radar research by Environment Canada will make that job more difficult.
It really kind of holds us back a lot on the information that we can gather when we're out in the field in order to keep not only just ourselves safe, but the general public.
Radar provides real-time data about immediate conditions, helping Environment Canada issue warnings to the public. But its radar research team has now been disbanded, and radar technology won't be further developed. Environment Canada would not discuss staffing changes with CBC News. It says changes to radar research have been made, but it will continue to provide expertise in maintaining Canada's radar network.
But when you look at the variety of different options that U.S. ones have.
Experts say Canada's radars were already 15 years behind the capabilities of those in the U.S., and some farmers near the border say they're relying on U.S. radars instead of Canada's.
I can kind of rely on some American apps and that, but it would be nice to see the Canadian government and the Saskatchewan government invest a little bit more.
Canada will also soon be the first country to launch a hybrid AI weather model forecasting system. But experts like David Sills say this does not replace radar when it comes to the immediate risk on the ground.
We actually have done studies where we looked at what is the radar imagery that was in front of the forecaster when that tornado was missed. And a lot of times it's because the quality of the radar image is so poor that it's hard to tell that there's potential for a tornado there.
Environment Canada researchers are optimistic the AI technology will get better.
But in the future, we hope that with AI, we can improve all ranges of forecasts.
David Sills has started a letter writing campaign urging people to ask elected officials to reverse the cuts. 8,000 letters were sent in the first 48 hours. Sills says improved detection of hail, tornadoes, and flash floods are needed to improve public safety. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. We leave you now with video of Emerald Lake in the Yukon. It's known for its striking green color created by mineral deposits left behind by glaciers thousands of years ago. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.